Welcome back to the next video in this playlist. Uh, well, the last video, we went over techniques to determine malicious activity. Now we're going to take a look at vulnerability scanning tools and techniques so we can mitigate that malicious activity to not be so successful. So we're going to go over, for at least for the first exercise, the network asset detection tools. Because as a cyber professional, so a routine task that's normally performed on the network is to detect the connected devices, right? So the scans are essential to determine if any unauthorized or rogue devices are connected to the network, right? So the Nmap application, which we used in a prior video, is one of the well-known apps that can detect hosts on the network. So not only can it be used to detect hosts, but also to detect device vulnerabilities as well. So we're actually going to use Nmap in our first task to detect devices on the network. So let's actually get started with this server here. I don't know why this one's open. So once we get it open, we'll get started there. All right, so we got the server up and running. So now I can hit the XAMPP control. Let's see. There it is. All right, so we're going to start like we did in the prior video because it started to ensure the device Apache and MySQL, which just looks like it's still running actually. So I just wanted to make sure just so the services could start automatically. So a vulnerable website, which has been deployed, which we use for the next couple steps here. I just wanted to make sure it was started properly. So this allows me to go ahead to the next server here, and then we'll be able to move forward there with the next exercise. All right, so we got it locked and loaded, so we can open up the terminal, and then we can start typing away to do some scanning. All right. Let's see, 0, 1, 2, 4. There we go. Now we're starting to scan now. The Nmap command, it can be executed without any parameters or scan for all the available hosts in the specified IP range, right? So from the command output, it can be determined that there are 6 detected or a few detected hosts. I'm not sure, I'm just going to scan here, but with their correlating IP addresses. So it can be determined if the devices are legitimate. So actually, let's do another scan. Actually, there are 4 hosts, not 6. So let's do another scan here. Here, actually, still on. There it is. So now the O parameter, it detects the operating system of the specified IP. So you'll see that there are no specific parameters, right, on how accurate, percentages on how accurate the results are. So from the output, you can determine that it's a Windows OS, Windows Server OS running on the host, right? And you see one host up, and then we can do another scan here. If I can spell properly. Let's see, there we go. So we do another one, and then no host. That went pretty quickly. So we can do, actually, let me get rid of this guy here. Then we do not there. Now, executing with the SV parameters determines the specific services and versions running on the device. So cyber professional will analyze the results and determine if some vulnerable ports or services are running on a device. So from the output, port 80 is open, and a version of the Apache service is running on the device. So port 80 just transmits network traffic unencrypted as a possible point of exploitation. So let's actually get this. Not do that regular? Yes, I did. And then we can do 4 instead of 5. And now it's going to display the services and versions that's running on a Linux device. You see one host there. We can do Actually, that's the wrong one. I didn't want to do that one. I want to do 0.3. There we go. Now, executed the command with the subtraction A or the minus A displays more detailed information about the detected device. So this includes the domain that the device is joined to, the device name, and the version of the OS, in addition to the command also displaying how the device was connected to the network, whether it was Ethernet or wireless, right, using a traceroute command. So the same results usually are displayed when the following parameters are like the O and the SV. Using the A parameter is a combination of both of those to the previous ones that I used. So we can actually do, let's see, 5, let's do that one. This one here, using the A again. But nonetheless, those are the different types of scan you can use in the details that go along with the types of scan that you're doing to take a look at those devices on the network. So now I'm just going to look into, for the next task, using Zenmap to discover devices on the network. Now, over the years, the Nmap application has evolved and can be used on a Windows OS using a GUI. Now, the Zenmap app will be used to detect the available host on the network. So just going to open up, I'm using all the servers today. All right, so I'll head over to Zenmap once this is up and running. All right, so we got the server up and running, so let's go ahead and get our Zenmap up and running. All right, so let's see, Zenny. There we go, open. All right, now in our target field, we're gonna do this IP here. And let's do a quick scan. So the Zenmap app has a GUI version of the Nmap application and can be used on a Windows OS, right? So we need to take note that the command field changes when changing the profile drop-down menu, right? So after the scan is completed, which it has, since we did a quick scan, didn't take long, the discover hosts on the network are displayed here. So these results can be compared with the results that we had from task 1 that we used the regular Nmap scanning. So let's take a look at this one. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. All right, perfect. So take a look at that one too. That port is open. All right, so just taking a look at what populated. So let's take a look at this one. And then we're gonna take a look at that. Then let's scan. There it is. All right, perfect. And let's actually let's do a bit of testing out a few things here. Let's do, let me get rid of this one. Back here. All right, so we can see that the Zenmap app, it can detect the OS of the host on the network, right, as I mentioned. Now, the same command was also used in the previous task when executed in the bash shell, right? So let's try one more here. So pretty much, again, same concept as far as the commands that we're giving it for the type of scans that we want. And scan. Actually, let's do just like this. And then this time, instead of looking at the port and host on the output, I'm going to take a look at the topology. All right. And we're going to see a bit more information here since I used the A parameter. It's going to give a bit more detail. So actually, let's look at the topology here. See if we can zoom in. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to zoom in. Let's maximize it. There is another way, but I'm not going to worry about it. So let's click here because it gives us a better view, but nonetheless, it's okay. So just clicking on different ways that we can actually view the information that we're taking a look at, right? So we have different services, trace routes, right? We have different hosts. We could take a look at their general information, right? As far as the last booting, the use ports, their fingerprints, their match, things of that nature, the host details, the accuracy as well. The OS, as I mentioned, as far as those details as well. Let's see. Let me go back here. Then see. Take a look there, the services. So the host viewer tab usually gives us more details of the detected hosts on the network. But I prefer looking at it at an actual graphic. I'm not sure why. But the open ports and services running in a host are also displayed, so a cyber professional can use these results to detect and remediate a device's vulnerabilities accordingly. So now that we've seen that, Zenmap, I love using that. So we're just going to close that up, and then we're going to head on to our next exercise, which is going to be detecting network vulnerabilities. So we just want to make sure that these vulnerabilities, once we do find that they're remediated as soon as possible, at least on a priority list as far as what vulnerabilities need to be tended to on that list, right? To prevent possible exploits, right, of devices and networks. So what we're going to start with now is scan network devices for vulnerability with OWASP, right? So let's see, we're going to actually stay here. It's not SAP. All right, let's open her up. Let's open her up. All right. Give her later time to run. Let's just sure exit this out. But let's take a look at, let's run through this here. I'll actually just minimize so I can move on. So we're going to take a look at the Ajax. The Ajax spider. Let's see. Where is it? Should be. See the spiders here, but I don't see anything moving. All right, let's take a look. All right, so I'm actually just going to pivot over to just running an automated scan. And what I'm going to do is with the automated scan to attack. So the IP address of this server for ML1 is going to be entered, and this information, of course, was gathered from previous exercises and determined that the device may have vulnerabilities. So let's see here. Let's see, Chrome. Then we're going to use the Ajax spider. All right, and then Come on. All right, so we're going to use this every time. Okay. WA. And then let's see. Show scan. Now, also before I continue, several Chrome browsers will be open when the scan is initiated, so the browser windows can be viewed to see the attack being conducted by the application, the Zap applications, and the scan may take up to 10 minutes. So actually, I'll just hit select here, and I'll just keep going here. So while it's running, while it's attacking and doing its scan, I wanted to make sure I also showcase the scan progress as well, especially because it's going to take a while. It's quite a bit of scanning that's going, well, attacking that has to be done. And then when the scan is complete, it'll have obviously the blue bar filled all the way up, all the way down to the XML injection. And then we're going to take a look at a few other things as well when it's finished. All right, so the scan has finally completed. I'm just going to close this out, and we can see the alerts from the cross-site scripting, the external redirect, the open direct, redirect path traversal, and things of that nature. So I'm just going to focus on the cross-site scripting reflected in the alerts pane here. Now, the Zap application, while it can detect a vulnerability in a web app, a vulnerable web app has been implemented on this server, so several vulnerabilities have been discovered, which can be seen in the output, right? So any professional or cyber professional can use these results to remediate the vulnerabilities to prevent an attack on the web app. So we can scroll through the detected vulnerabilities to get a bit more info, but we don't have to do that, this being a lab. So I'm just going to close out the Zap app. All right, and we're going to move to detecting network vulnerabilities using the Nmap scanning. And so we can get started with doing that. I'll pivot over here and to the terminal. Just let me log in here. All right, and then we can do sudo Wireshark password. Perfect. Okay, perfect. That's selected. We can start capturing packets. All right, so now do that. Let's do a new window. All right, so with this window, I'm gonna do similar, actually the same that we ran some videos ago, I believe. Scripts. Pipe. There we go. Perfect. All right, so we can see the different Nmap scripts, right? I'm just going to just keep going. All right, so now, actually, so before I continue, so the scripting engine, right, it contains several scripts that a cyber professional would use to detect any vulnerabilities on the devices on the network. So to determine what the script functions are, we can browse a tool to get more information on it, to take a look at the Nmap scripting engine documentation. And I'll get into that possibly in another video, but I just wanted to go over that tidbit. So we can actually start to, let me actually stop this. Here. So script, title, P80. It wasn't working for me. Should be it. All right, perfect. And then it should start a new Nmap scan. And I can get started. There we go. See the one host there. Then let's do another script. So, operation. Another scan. Now, executing this command, the script displays information of the vulnerable website. Now, from the results, we will see that there are going to be a few different directories available that are publicly accessible. This may not be intentional, typically isn't, but it could pose a security risk that needs to be remediated. So let's see. Let's actually open up Wireshark again. All right, so let me stop the packets here. So take a look at these. All right, so the traffic between the devices was captured using this app, the Wireshark app, right? Which is one of the most popular apps used for packet sniffing and a few other things. But we can analyze the captured traffic to detect the vulnerability. So we can scroll through the traffic here. Looks like it doesn't let me maximize, but nonetheless, we can still like go through here as far as to determine what we got and what was it found, and just pretty much just scrubbing through. Here I can make it not bigger, but more visible. Here we can see the numbers, the source, the IP source, and destination protocols and things of that nature, right? But just wanted to make sure we can see all of that. So I'm just going to quit all of these here. Okay, so we ran those commands, that's fine. All right, perfect. Now we're going to do some scanning, scan for a network device with Nessus. Excuse me. So we can actually use to scan network devices for vulnerabilities with this tool as well. So we can detect and remediate the vulnerabilities that we have. So I'm going to reopen the terminal again. And I'm going to use, let's see, this command. That should work. All right, perfect. So the executed command, it's going to start the necessary services and compile the needed plugins for the application, the Nessus application. It may take a couple of minutes as all the plugins are loaded. So I'm just going to open up just to have it queued up. It's going to open up Firefox and should be finished processing in a moment here. All right, so while the terminal is running in the background, I'm just going to just keep moving forward here so we can keep these marching orders in line. All right, so let's go take a look at the local host. All right, 834, and we want to continue. Okay. Like risk, certain type of risk, but we like risk. So it should be in the pop-up window. We don't have to turn here, but we can create a new scan. And then basic network scan. Okay. All right, so let's do this here. Then let's do that. Right there. perfect. And then we're going to do password. Yeah, that's fine. Administrator, that's fine. I'll just leave it. Actually, sure. Okay. All right, let's see what we got here. So using the ASAP Lab network credentials, we just ensure that the Nessus application will have sufficient permission to scan the network device on the network. So let's here. Scrolling a bit, actually, not a bit. Yeah, that hurt. That helped just a bit. All right, so now that we've got the username and password and domain taken care of, so let's see, new scan. Let's see. Launch it. All right, so now the scanning has taken place. It shouldn't take long to finish up. And then we're going to take a look to see if we find any vulnerabilities. All right, so the scanning, the Nessus scanning has been running for quite some time, so I'll just still move forward. We're taking a look at a few things that it has come across. So if we take a look at the vulnerability, so far it's been scanning for nearly 20 minutes, and the vulnerabilities so far are about 90. So I'm going to click on here since it's the most critical, right? And let's see. So as we can see, it's on the CBSS score, it's a 9.0 here and a 9.8 there. That's up top. Let's see. Where do we see? There we go. All right, perfect. And then let's see. I'm gonna take a look at this one. This one's pretty bad. Multiple vulnerabilities. Details here definitely would be high on the priority list. So go back to the host. Now, while it did detect several vulnerabilities on the host, we want to note that as you can see, that these vulnerabilities have different severity levels, mixed, high, medium, just information, and critical, right? We can use these results to kind of prioritize which ones to remediate before the others on the priority list. So let's take a look at this one also, right? Not too bad. Yeah, it's not too bad. There's a lot of these on the list. So anyway, so now we can take a look at detecting vulnerabilities with Metasploit and Nmap. So Metasploit can be used in conjunction with Nmap to detect vulnerabilities on network devices as well. So to use Metasploit, let's head to this server here. We can get it on. There it is. So let's log in and get started here. Just a second. Perfect. There we go. Got an emulator up. Let's type in our command. it is. All right, I expected it to ask for password anyway, but that's fine. So now just waiting for it to finish here. Started the main the Metasploit framework. Let's all right, so just look, let's see different options for sending the device on the network. So let's do board. So root host. Now, a specific host or a range of hosts can be specified using that command. So let's do this here. And then now we can do some exploits. And it'll tell me which port is open on the host. And port 80 is open. Looks like this is that here, port 80. All right, let's do some mapping. Keyboard gets kind of sticky on the side here. So I'm just waiting for the output. Host. Perfect. So I can actually close this out now. So the version of the server, the Apache server that was displayed out the running, the scan using the Nmap and Metasploit, where I can use that to search to find out if there's any other vulnerabilities for the version of the Apache server. But this is the end of the video as far as our vulnerability scanning and as far as tools and techniques. So we were able to do some network asset detection tools and detecting network vulnerabilities using Nmap, Zenmap, Nessus, Metasploit, and different variations of how we use that as well. And on our next video, we're going to do some identifying and analyzing for malicious activity, and I'll see you in that one.